Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a handy little how-to video for you. So it's all about brakes. That's what we're going to be talking about. That's what we're going to be doing more specifically on this 2015 Polo 1.4 diesel. Super simple to change the brake pads on this, and that's what we're up to. The discs are still in good condition. They were replaced recently. The pads are, well, they're not terrible, but they're binding a little bit. So what we're going to do is replace them with some OE quality pads, get everything cleaned up. So first thing I've done, I've used the breaker bar and just slackened the road wheel, and then what I'm going to do is get the car up in the air so the wheel's off the floor. Super easy, up we go. And then once we're up, basically I'm going to pop an axle stand under there and leave it supported on the air jack as well, just to make sure that I've got double security. So essentially what I'm going to do is just take an impact gun then and whip the wheel off. So let's cut back on when the wheel's off, because I'm pretty sure most of you know how to get a wheel off. So the reason these brakes are binding in the first place is because of Dan Schumacher over there jumping on them like he's got a lead foot. Some of the things you're going to need to do this job, pretty basic tools, right? Basic socket set, essentially air blower optional if you've got one, brilliant if you have. If not, don't worry, because you can use aerosol brake cleaner. We'll be using both. You're going to want some copper grease as well for lubing all the new parts up. Obviously don't get it on the face of the disc. I know it has 25 horsepower, but you will crash your car, so don't do that. So what I'm going to do first off, I've literally got the wheel off, I've done nothing else. I'm just going to give everything a quick blowout. Right, that's going to get rid of any loose crud or brake dust or anything like that just out the way, so we're not getting covered in it. Now, what you have to do essentially to change brake pads and brake discs, because the only difference between changing the pads and the disc really is this screw here. You do the exact same process, but when the caliper and the carrier are off, you basically undo that screw, remove the disc, pop the new one on, put the screw back in, and then put the carrier back on. We don't have to do that today, just have to remove the caliper. And we can see that these pads have got plenty of life left in them, but they were a cheaper set of pads. They're binding, they're not doing very well, so we're going to replace with an OE set. So all you have to do to get the caliper off, there is two tubes at the back here. Now, these won't always be in tubes. Sometimes there'll be a bolt head like a 13mm. Other times they'll be like this, where you put a hex in. There's one there and there's one underneath you feel for it. Usually they'll have a cap on, these haven't. So all you basically have to do is find what fits. Now, a lot of the time, this will be a 6 or 7mm hex Allen key. So straight away, that's a 7mm. And I'm gonna check the 8mm so that I know I'm not going too small. Yep, brilliant, the 8mm doesn't fit. So I know now that I can slacken that off with the 7mm hex. It's really simple. Just put it in. It's a regular thread as well, so you'll turn it to the left. Just get it to where you can tap that down. There you go, that's that one slackened. And then what we'll do is we'll undo the bottom one. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can either leave the top one in and you can hinge the caliper up and out the way on the top one, but I like to remove them because I like to grease those sliders up and make sure that they're lubricated, because what happens if they're not is the caliper can bind up on the sliders and then you can get brakes stuck on and things like that. Whereas if you lubricate them, you give yourself the best chance of the brake releasing properly and you're not getting any problems down the line. So I'm going to whip one of those out now so you can see exactly what they are and what they look like. Super straightforward. On a lot of cars now, this is exactly how they're set up. So this process will pretty much work on most cars on front brakes. So that's your slider. Again, they used to be a little bit different to that. You can see that's in pretty good condition, but we'll give it a clean up, we'll give it some copper grease and make sure it's well lubricated for the rest of the process. And quite literally, once you've undone both of these sliders, the caliper you're able to just move it out the way. Super straightforward. Like I say, you can hinge it on the top one if you want, but I'm going to remove it today for the video to show you exactly what to expect if you actually take it off. And you can just balance it on top of the disc while you're doing the general bits and bobs and changing the pads over anyway. But super straightforward. Right, so the top one's coming out. We'll open up our new brake pads in a minute as well, have a look at those, because there's different orientations. So you'll see this one has like a retaining spring clip that sits in the caliper. Sometimes you won't have that on the front, but you'll have it where it goes into the piston inside the caliper. So you're just going to make sure you put them in the right way. But again, brakes are something that you really shouldn't be scared of. I understand why people are. However, they're a super simple job to do, and you can save yourself realistically about £100 in labour doing this yourself versus taking it to a garage. So that one's got a bit more crud on, but that is old grease. So we'll clean that off really easily, and it's nice to see that the sliders are in decent condition. So quite straightforward then. All you do, you might want, like a long lever or screwdriver for this, and I think I'm going to need one, so I'm going to go fetch one, and that'll enable me. Oh, actually no, okay, I've got some movement on the top. That's easy enough. There we go. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. So that's the caliper off and out the way. You can see now you've got your brake disc and you've got your carrier, and the pads on this particular car sit inside the caliper like so. So really easy to remove. Again, loads of life left on them, but I think they're just glazed. They feel glazed, they look glazed, and I think that's why they're not working so well. So for the sake of, well, that's because of you jumping on your brakes. But yeah, if Dan broke slightly more gently, he wouldn't have this issue, but it's a non-issue anyway. Let's get them swapped over and I'll show you exactly how to put them in, how to clean everything up, and we'll be back on. All right, as we can see, we've opened our new pads and they are rather a nice OE quality. And like you can see there, the retaining clips are on all 4 pads, so we know exactly how they go in. So essentially what we've got to do is push the old ones out, which you can pull that one out the piston quite easily. You'll see how the retaining clip holds it into the piston. And yeah, they're not in bad condition, but they are definitely glazed, and there's definitely been some bits of contamination in there because we can see the scratches in the pad surface. But obviously, as we've established, it's Dan's super heavy foot that glazes them in the first place. So let's push the other one out. There we go. Superb. Yeah, they're not too bad, but again, cheaper quality pads like that, they don't always last that long, and once they do glaze, well, it's a bit of a pain to actually sort them out. So obviously the good thing about this is, because we haven't let the pads wear down too much, as we can see, the difference between old and new is really quite small. There's only about probably 3 mil gone off of those pads, so we won't really have to push the piston back too far. But that's the next step. So what I'm going to do is give everything a quick blow off. And we'll also just give it a quick blast with brake cleaner as well. Never hurts just to clean everything down and then blow it all off because it's a solvent, and then we'll do the same for the disc as well. Just helps to get any of that loose rubbish from around the brake caliper, and then same with the disc. We'll just give that a spray, give it a wipe over, because any glazing that's on the disc or any like materials or oils or anything will come off, and we'll do the same with the back. The back's a little bit more tricky, but essentially you can get round to it. Make sure we're wiped off all the way around the back behind the guard. But a bit of cleanliness when you're doing your brakes is no bad thing. Right, sorted. So when you are doing brakes, the biggest bit of advice I can give you is invest in one of these. This is a brake caliper pushback kit, and they are cheap. Like in this instance, this kit was cheaper than the set of new pads, and they're super easy to use. So you just select the right-handed tool for this one, because it doesn't really matter which way you wind it back, because it's a pushback, not a wind back. And all you do is drop the guard on there, and then we can probably just drop that one inside the piston. Yeah, that'll work. So essentially then we're just going to use the caliper itself to push against and push the piston back. So all we do, drop it in like so, centre that, turn that until it locks up against the actual forks on the caliper, push it back, and then we're good to slot the new pads in then and drop it all back together. Like I said, it's a quick, easy process this, and the other side is just the exact mirror image of this really, but it takes a second if you've got it wound all the way down. But we're not going to see a huge amount of movement on this piston, that's for sure, because like I said, there's probably only 3 mil gone off the original pads, but we're changing them for that particular reason. Right, there we go. So when we've got it locked in, you basically just turn, and you're going to watch the piston just retract right back to its kind of fully open position. And to be fair, there's not a lot of resistance on these at all. If you're getting a lot of resistance, take the cap off the brake fluid reservoir. That's it, that's at max pushback now. So easy as that. Then we can remove the tool and we're good as gold. And once the tool's out the way, we can essentially slot our new pads in. So you'll see with the shape of the pads, they follow the caliper. The caliper's got that curve in the bottom, and the outward curve there goes exactly like that. So push into the piston like that. They don't hold super tight either. And then this one's very much the same deal. We just have to get it mounted in, and these spring clips can be a bit of a pig, but persevere with them, they do go. Sometimes you have to kind of push one side up and then squeeze it into place. Always a little bit unwieldy when you've kind of got the caliper off like this, but again, not impossible, and you can use your screwdriver to help you if you need to, but usually a good firm push and a wiggle will get it into place. There we go, it's coming. There we are. Right, sorted. And then you'll see the little tails on the pads then basically sit off the top and bottom of the caliper, and there's a little bit of movement, which is completely normal. Right, let's get a bit of a wipe off, and then all we do is reposition the caliper back over the disc like so, into position. Now, it's important to note at this point, you want your pads then to basically bottom out on the carrier like that, so the tails will sit on the carrier nicely. So what I haven't done on this one is put a load of copper grease on the back of the pads, and the reason for that is they have these release pads on them anyway, and they're clipped into place, so they're not really going to bind up too badly, and we know they're OE quality. But what I will do is put some copper grease on the sliders, because that's ideally the bit you want lubricated. You don't want to get lubrication everywhere, but on the sliders it's quite important. So what I will do is take my 7mm, put it in there, and then I'll just use that to hold it while I paint loads of copper grease onto the actual sliders themselves. And this stops them binding up, because if you haven't got the caps on the rubber tubes, you do get a bit of crud in there, and what you don't want is that to basically stop the slider from moving, because the caliper will seize, your brakes will get stuck on, and well, it's just a nightmare, to be brutally honest. So let's pop that one back in. Again, in the rubber tube that it came out of, you've just got to get a sight line on that. There we go. And then usually the caliper will line up nicely, which it has in this instance. I've just lost the magnet to my microphone, which is of course brilliant. And then my microphone slid down my top. So there's a blooper you don't normally get to see. Right, let's put that back on. There we go, that's secured. And you can just wind them in. I'm going to do the same with the other one before I fully tighten that one. I gave these a bit of a clean off as well with some brake cleaner and some rag, and they came up really well. So again, sometimes if they're past it and they've got loads and loads and loads of deposits on, sometimes you might need to replace the slider set. They can be gotten quite cheaply as well, and usually most parts places will do slider sets for calipers anyway. So top needs to go in and line up. There you go. Sometimes you have to give it a bit of a thwack and it just goes home like that. And then essentially, like I said before, if you were doing discs, at the point where the caliper was off, you would have removed the carrier, removed the retaining screw, and then changed the disc. And it's literally the only extra step in the process if you are doing discs as well as pads. So you don't want to go crazy tight with these either. You're just pinching them up and giving them a little nudge just to secure them. They don't need to be ridiculously tight, because obviously everything will move around the brakes anyway. So that's that one, and then I'll just give it a little tap just to send it home. And then the same with the bottom one as well. Get a head down there. Obviously you can't see the bottom one, but it's pretty self-explanatory anyway. And then a little tap, that's it. And that is as simple as that. That's brake pads done. Hence why I say it's not a job you should be scared of. It's not a job you need to be scared of. If you do it right and methodically and you clean it all up properly and you get everything positioned right, it will fall into place. You can't really do it wrong. If you put the pads in backwards, you won't get the caliper back on, and so on and so on. So now all we've got to do is get the road wheel on, take it for a little road test once I've done the other side, and we're golden. That's as easy as that. That's brake pads on most vehicles, especially most modern vehicles. It's that simple. So next time, have a go yourself. Don't waste a load of money and labour. Go and get yourself parts, OE quality, and have a crack, because I'm telling you now, you'll think it's easier than you think. I'm going to crack on with the other side, get that jacked up. It's basically a mirror image of this anyway, so it's super easy. It's just obviously you're working on the left side of the disc instead of the right, because you'll be facing the passenger side of the car. And these are going to go in the bin, never to be used again, because they're super glazed. And I'm going to try and see if Dan will lighten up his foot on the brake pedal, because fingers crossed I won't have to be doing this again for some. No, he's nodding no, he's not going to lighten up. So I'm probably going to have to do this again in 3 months' time. But for now, we'll see you in the next one, where we're going to be doing some rear discs and pads on my Jag. That's a little bit more involved, but again, not super difficult, and we'll show you how we do all that in the next video. We will catch you in the next one.